but we do. And I agree with Senator Murphy. We both agree on this. Chris believes that love is the answer, and I do too. But I own a handgun just in case, and that's my right. And every veteran has that right. And we shouldn't take away a person's gun without a judge, not a bureaucrat at the VA, ruling that person mentally incompetent.
Today we're diving into a fiery clash on the Senate floor between Senators John Kennedy and Chris Murphy. This showdown is about veterans' rights, mental health, and the Second Amendment. Buckle up, because this is going to be intense. Let's start with Senator Kennedy's proposed amendment.
Before I explain my amendment, I would like to yield 30 seconds to my good friend Senator Tester.
Mr. President, I rise in support of the Kennedy Amendment, in support of Second Amendment rights for veterans in Montana and across this country. It is not right that a D.C. bureaucrat at the VA can take away a veteran's legal right to their firearm simply because they need assistance managing their finances. I'll tell you what a Montana advocate for veterans told me. Said this VA's long-standing policy to threaten veterans' constitutional rights who ask for their help managing their affairs has been a barrier to veterans to receive help for years. It's time to end it so veterans can reach out for the financial help they need and the mental health they need. I agree, and I don't believe someone who has served this country needs a fiduciary to have to hire a lawyer to go back to court to get their Second Amendment rights. I yield back to Senator Kennedy.
Madam President, there's 16 million veterans in our country. Sometimes some of them need help managing their financial affairs. When they do, they go to the Veterans Administration, and the Veterans Administration appoints a fiduciary to help that veteran manage his or her financial affairs. But under current VA policy, can we have order, Madam President? Under current VA policy, get this, under current VA policy, if a veteran who defended this country has to go to the VA and ask for help managing his or her financial affairs, the VA automatically reports that veteran to the FBI's National Instant Criminal Background Check System, we call it NICS, and that veteran loses his firearm. He loses his firearm automatically. No due process. No questions asked. This decision has not been made by a judge, it's being made by a bureaucrat. All our amendment would do would be to say, the VA, just because you've asked for help with your money, cannot automatically take away your firearm or report you to NICS unless a judge has ruled that that veteran is a danger to himself or to others. And I would like to reserve the balance of my time.
The junior senator from Connecticut.
Madam President, I thought one of the few things that we agreed on firearms was that people with serious mental illness, people who are judged to be mentally incompetent, shouldn't be able to buy guns. And that's what we're talking about here today. We are not talking about people who just can't balance their checkbook. We're not talking about people who just need some assistance with their financial affairs. The standard that the VA uses is the standard of mental incompetence. These are veterans who have been judged to be mentally incapacitated. And let me put a finer point on it. 1/3 of the veterans we're talking about in this category are diagnosed schizophrenics. And this amendment allows for every single one of them to have their gun rights restored. Some of the most mentally ill people in this nation, people to whom we owe a duty of care, people who are frankly more prone to suicide than the general population, are now going to be able to get their hands on a weapon to kill themselves or others if we pass this. This is a death sentence for scores of deeply mentally ill veterans. What it does not do is set up some process by which to have a court judge whether or not they should own a gun. In fact, there is no current cause of action for that to occur. And we didn't have to be at this point where our only choice is to restore gun rights even to actively suicidal veterans. We made an offer to sit down and try to work out a compromise, a better appeals process, a mechanism for these veterans to go to court. But that did not happen. That offer was not accepted. And so instead, Madam President, we are voting on an amendment that gives gun rights back to every single seriously mentally ill veteran who've been judged to be mentally incompetent, even those that are actively suicidal. That is a death sentence for thousands of seniors, thousands of veterans all across this country if this becomes law. This is a terrible idea, and we should defeat it.
The junior senator from Louisiana.
Madam President, with all the respect I can muster, my colleague what he has said is inaccurate. Now, I understand this is America. You can believe what you want. There's some people that wish we didn't have a second Amendment. I get that, but we do. And I agree with Senator Murphy. We both agree on this. Chris believes that love is the answer, and I do too. But I own a handgun just in case, and that's my right. And every veteran has that right. And we shouldn't take away a person's gun without a judge, not a bureaucrat at the VA, ruling that person mentally incompetent.
And there you have it, a full breakdown of this intense Senate clash. This debate touches on hot-button issues, gun rights, veterans care, mental health, and government roles. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay subscribed for more in-depth analysis.